In the last lesson, we saw how to write a simple if statement, and the example that we used was a payroll example where we performed one calculation if the number of hours worked was greater than 40, and then we had a separate if statement that checked to see if the number of hours worked were less than or equal to 40, in which case yet another calculation was performed. Having two if statements related like that is usually not necessary. What you can do instead is write what's called an if-else statement. And let's take a look at the abstract version of that. Then we'll go back into the program from last lesson and modify it using an if-else. The way you write the if-else is you have the if, followed by the relational expression, followed by the set of statements that will be executed. Then you have else, followed by a colon, followed by the set of statements that you want to have executed, if the if part of the statement is false. So in other words, here's how the if-else statement works. The relational expression is tested. If it's true, then the statements in the body of the if are executed and control falls outside of the else, to where my cursor is, in other words. If the relational expression is false, then the statements after the else are automatically executed and then control falls down out of the if-else. So one set of statements is executed if the relational expression is true. A second set of statements is executed if the relational expression is false. But by doing it this way, we don't have to write a separate if that would be covered in this case by the else. All right, so let's go back and look at the program from before. It was ifstatement.py. And all we have to do to modify that is take out the if and replace it with an else. So now we're saying if hours worked is greater than 40, execute this statement. Otherwise, else, execute this statement. So let's exit and save and then run the program and see what it does. So we'll type ifstatement.py. So let's do it where the if is true. Now let's run it again. And this time let's run it with the else. So we get the very same result as we got before, but we do it without having to actually perform yet a second relational expression test. In other words, we don't have to test to see if hours worked is less than or equal to 40. If this expression is false, then execution is transferred immediately to the statement inside the else and it's executed. So now we've seen two of the three types of if statements, the if-else, and now the third type, which is performed if we have several relational expressions to test. And that's called the if-elif, and we're going to see how to do that in the next lesson.